Oops. Hi everybody, my guest today is Diego from Diego Spanish Tutor.
Hello.
He's based here in Puerto Morelos. Thank you for joining me today.
No, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
So those of you who don't know, Diego does a free Spanish class or cultural
Yes,
informational thing. Well, you can tell me. It's up El Pirata every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. If you're in town, it's great to go and check it out. So maybe just tell us a bit about that.
yes, I do the free classes at El Pirata, 4 p.m. every Tuesday at El Pirata, and also every Sunday at noon in YouTube. So it's an open class that you can subscribe to the channel and write me there any question you have. I will be happy to help you. And also I do classes on Calendly by Zoom. But we can talk about that later.
Yeah. I was gonna,
Now,
and then I was gonna say the next thing was gonna tell you about the Sunday
Okay.
thing, and that's really great because you usually cover a sort of a grammatical
Yes.
item or it's just questions that people may have, right?
Yes, it's
That's the beauty of it because if you have a specific question, that's your time. You can ask that question, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's basically conversational Spanish, more than a specific thing, but we can go through specific things. If you have some question, we can go through that.
Yeah, like sometimes people like how do I say this
Mm-hmm.
or how do I say that, and it's a really good opportunity to get those kind of questions answered.
Yes.
So that's really great. Sundays 12 o'clock YouTube. I'm going to put Diego's information in the description there, like how to
Books.
yeah how to get access to the Zoom and your YouTube channel and all of that
Yes.
sort of thing.
And I offer always 2 classes, 30 minutes each, free trial.
Yeah,
So-
which is fantastic because that gives you a little bit of a drive before you buy kind
Mm-hmm,
of thing, and that was another thing that I wanted to ask you is how do you run your classes? Like, do you assess like where a person is at because you have everything from beginner right through to some people who know a little bit, or are you mostly just for beginners?
I'm for beginners, and I have a student in Canada. He just pushed himself so good. I'm gonna say so bad, but he pushed himself so good, and he always speak on the class Spanish. So depends on the
Okay,
people. I can
okay.
do it with beginners,
Right,
And
okay.
at the beginning, I start to just make a chit chat to
That
see.
was my question.
where
Was
the
like you
people
do a
are.
little bit of an assessment, just have a
Yeah,
chat for the
yeah.
first, and the two
Yeah.
free classes kind of get you through that
Mm-hmm.
kind of initial figuring out where people are at and that kind of thing,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah,
The-
which is awesome.
I'm always says every student becoming some point on my teacher because you will teach me in which way you want to go on the class. So and then becoming a friends,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
the amazing thing
Okay.
about this.
Just-
I like it. I like it.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your teaching style. Like,
I don't know if it's a goofy style to teach. I
very
guess.
it's casual. It's not formal. It's,
It's
very
casual.
informal. Is
Very,
that
very,
right?
very,
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
very.
yeah.
And we can go formal, like with my student Avid. He just speaks Spanish, and at the end of the class, he's like, okay, it's 6 o'clock, the class is finished, and he start to speak English. But on the class, he speaks just Spanish. So
Okay.
I'm in the class, I write down in a whiteboard, and I send you later at the end of the class. I send you the whiteboard, all the class, all the words we talk
Okay.
about that,
Yeah.
and
That's
all
great.
the so in some way you have in your WhatsApp is better if you have WhatsApp, but if you don't have, I can send you by email. But every of my students have WhatsApp, so I can send you by email. You can have your whiteboard and your phone, and then every time you have a question, like, oh yes, I remember we talk about this, and you can go
Right.
to the specific thing.
Right. Okay.
But
No,
it's so
that's
casual,
great. That's
so
great. So,
casual.
so there isn't any sort of formal materials or anything. You just like whatever you talk about that day.
Exactly.
You do
Yes.
a whiteboard and
Yes.
okay.
And I use all the classes. I will give you a little bit about the introduction of the classes, but
Okay.
I use the earpods so nobody can hear you at my end. If I in the house with friends, if that never happened, but it sometime happened that you hear a voice on my house or in my office, I will have the earpods so nobody can hear you, and I will just focus on you. Just
Okay.
is in the classes is one on one. It's not
Right.
for groups.
Right.
Some marriage couples asked me to do the classes, and I told them, okay, on the free trial, let's try how you go, because
Okay.
also in a married couple, they have a different level of understanding.
They do. Yeah.
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 One-
They have an internal language, right, between each other.
So it's better
Yeah.
to just have 30 minutes one
Right.
and 30 minutes
That
the other
makes
one.
total sense. That
Because
makes
one
total
can read the Spanish really good, and the other one can understand it better. So it's a
Yeah, people can be at different levels, and it makes more sense to have one-on-one, the
Yes,
one-on-one
yes.
thing. Okay. So how do you measure progress? Or do you, or is it just,
I need to start to make the test
Okay,
with the
yeah,
students.
yeah.
It's something that I've been not good at, but also with the students, they just every class is what do you want to learn today.
Okay.
We go through
okay.
that, and then at the end of the class, okay, we talk at the beginning of the class to learn about aquí y ahora, here and now. Now is the end of the class. You learn how is aquí y ahora, right? And then they let me know
Okay,
if they
so
get it or
each,
not.
it's really very individualized then, because, you can,
Mm-hmm.
you are, so if you, it's a good way if you have specific issues or specific things that you want to talk about, rather than in a classroom setting where you're sort of set out what their agenda is. You can set your own agenda then, basically, is the way it
Yes,
works, right? Which is
yes.
fantastic, because like I say, everybody's a different level, and it's hard. I find I'm between beginner and intermediate. I'm in between those two. So it's really difficult to find a class for that, because you're either beginning or you're intermediate. And so the intermediate is I'm lost. Beginner, I'm bored. So that's what I find with the formal classes, is that, to find that happy medium where I'm at. So this is where individualized
Yes.
classes can be really, really helpful to people, right? And you can do it from anywhere because it's Zoom. So if you want to start working on your Spanish before you come here, you can sign up with Diego and get your Zoom classes all done, and then maybe by the time you get here, you'll
Yes.
know what you're talking about.
And it's not formal also, because that in that way you will be more fun to don't be like, oh, I have the class, and you can be at your end with the phone, because I know a lot of people is like to study and
Yeah.
being in another thing. So I will be just put attention on you, but somebody will be like this. I will not say like, hey, you need to put attention on me because
Right,
I'm
right,
the teacher.
right.
I'm so relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm so relaxed at the class, because I guess it's the way to the people to be more attached to the class and more fun. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I have a class, so I
Right.
want to go to the class. And I used to have a three kind of schedule, like a 15 minutes, 30 minutes, in 1 hour.
Okay.
3 times a week
Okay.
or 5 times a week. But I just erased the 5 times a week an hour, because I don't like my students to be like, oh, I have class
Okay,
again.
that's too much. That was
It's
going to
too
be my
much.
next question, is how much of a commitment do I have to make if I sign up for a class? So you're saying it can be different lengths of time, but basically 3 times a week?
Basically 3 times a week, and is 2 options: 30 minutes or 1 hour.
Okay,
That's
okay,
it.
gotcha.
That's it.
So-
And I have one class that I'm just promoting right now. That is, I call it boutique class. So you can sign for 28 US.
Okay.
It's the most. It's a boutique class. So
Okay.
we can chit chat by WhatsApp in a video call, and you can ask me, Diego, go to the grocery shop and talk with the people there or show me how to ask for certain things.
Okay, that's great.
So
That's
I
awesome.
can
So give
be
you
your-
like right feet in the ground, like this is what you need to say when you're
Or at the
here,
restaurant,
or
yeah.
at the restaurant.
So I
or
can be
wherever.
there with the WhatsApp, like a,
Okay,
hola,
okay,
¿cómo
yeah,
estás?
yeah, yeah.
I want a beer in
Okay,
Spanish, you know?
Okay, and then that way that hopefully the people learn what what it is that you're saying. So you're in an actual situation, because that's what I
Yes.
find I panic.
Yes.
Is whenever there's somebody standing in front of me and I go, oh, you know what, I knew this, I knew what I had to say, but then you get nervous.
Yes, the most of the
Right?
people, and I told to my students, it's about to be scared. Don't be scared about the people will be offended or will make fun of you. I used to work in a ferries in Playa del Carmen, and I have every single day when I start to speak more English.
Right.
I have 3 partners in the work. They was behind me.
Yeah.
And they start making fun of me. So I would look up. Okay, I need to deal with this. And then, like a month later, I have better English, and one of they come to me like,
Right.
"Can you teach me some English?" Like, for sure.
Instead of laughing, they should
I
have
have,
been doing.
I have no bad feeling
Yeah,
against you,
yeah.
but now you need to learn
Right,
to deal with
right,
your
right.
3 friends,
Yeah.
because they will make fun of you.
Yeah.
He just stayed there for a week, and then he told me, "It's not for me," because the friends was making fun of him. So
Okay,
you need to
okay.
be strong and
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
doing
And
it.
my experience here has been every time I've tried to speak Spanish to somebody that's a native, it's come with open arms. You know, everyone's been really helpful. They'll correct me if I'm wrong, which is what I want because I want to say things correctly, right?
Exactly.
I was down at Carabella's for tacos one day, and the chef came out to talk to me, and I was struggling, you know, but I was trying, right? He came over, gave me a big hug, and it was like, just thank you for trying, you know, and that's what my experience is. So don't be afraid to try. That's the thing that, and classes help you because it gets you more used to speaking. You can tell I speak with my hands, but it does. It gives you the more practice you get, the more comfortable you get. That's the way I find. And so if you can talk in your classes 3 times a week for half an hour or an hour, you're going to be way ahead of a lot of people that come here, and you know, and even if you're just coming for a week or a month or whatever, it's just so nice to know a little bit of the language because you can get yourself in situations where you really need to know a little bit, at least a little bit, to maybe get directions or, you know, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah, one of the things that I first told to my students is, one of the first one is when somebody asks you to talk Spanish, or they ask you if you speak Spanish, you should to avoid to say no hablo español, because they will take it like oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. English speaker. So you will say hablo muy poco español. That means I speak a little bit. Because if you say I don't speak Spanish, they will thinking like oh, this person doesn't want to. So it's just a little thing that can be a huge thing.
Yeah, little things that you can learn like that.
And the people will be like oh,
that's a totally different attitude.
Speak a little Spanish. I will try to help. As a Mexicans, the 95% will be like I will help you. It's like a challenge.
That's what I've run into. That's what I've never run into anything negative. Other than people that just can't understand my pronunciation, and that's just practice as well, right? Yeah. Okay, well that's great. Maybe tell us a little bit. Oh, you did tell us about your classes. What about pricing?
The pricing.
If you don't have it, that's okay. I can just put it in the. It'll be in the link.
It's on the link. Is the class of hour is the 2 package that is 30 minutes and 1 hour is the 3 times a week. So the package with 1 hour is more or less 12 US for hour when you buy the package for a month. That is 12 classes. When you buy the package of 30 minutes, that means that is 6 hours. And each hour is about 16 US.
Okay. So that's really reasonable for learning, you know. And so do you commit to so many a package of, say, 10 classes or 12 classes?
It's 12 classes, all the package.
So it's a month.
It's for a month.
It's a month. Okay.
We can talk like, I have a family, a marriage couple. They ask me for 2 classes a week. So they buy the package of 30 minutes a week. And they do one day, 1 hour. And 30 minutes another day.
Okay, so you can mix and you can be flexible that way, and that's another beautiful thing about having a private tutor is that you know you can be more flexible with your
I love
clients,
when they told me in 2 days in advance that they will block the class, the next class, but sometimes they call me like 30 minutes before, like hey, we're not going to make it today. I will not be like well. Now you lost your class. That was another
question I was going to ask you was what your cancellation policy is, because life happens sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
But you know, if you're going to make a commitment, you need to make a commitment. But yes, things will come up from time to time.
I think sometimes I'm really with the wave, and I say like, oh no worries, I'm so like that, but it's needed.
No, but I mean at the same time, you've blocked that time for that person, so it's not something you want.
But also can happen to me.
Absolutely.
You know, so
of course,
on that way I was like okay, no worries.
Yeah,
and
can we reschedule?
You can reschedule.
Yeah,
it's not like you lost your chance.
Yeah, exactly.
We can reschedule.
Okay, sure. That's good to know. So really flexibility, individualized program, getting to practice 3 times a week, which is really good because repetition, right? The more you practice, the better.
Practice is the practice.
Yeah.
Listen to the music in Spanish. Watch movies, Mexican movies with subtitles in English and audio in Spanish, and then the opposite with audio in English and subtitles in Spanish. It's gonna help you a lot to make a match. Even American movies, you can put audio Spanish
okay,
audio
okay. On
English.
Netflix, yeah, because it gives you all kinds of options for subtitles and audio
Yes.
and that sort of
Yes.
thing.
So
yeah.
that's gonna help you for sure a lot.
Okay,
A
yeah,
lot.
yeah. The more you immerse yourself, I think the easier it is. You get an ear for the
Exactly.
accents and the way things are said.
Another point is, if you told me as a student, like, oh, I'm taking Duolingo classes or another thing,
Right.
I will not be like, no, you
Okay.
just need to take classes with me.
No.
It's better tools for you, so use it.
As
use
much as you can get coming in, right?
it. The only thing is with the Duolingo, sometimes Duolingo use Spanish from Spain. It's different,
That's
like a
what
pool.
I'm finding with a lot of the programs and stuff that it's from Spain. And the pronunciations are different, the slang is different, the colloquialism, all that stuff is different.
Just
right?
as simple like a
Yeah.
pool. Pool
Yeah.
in Mexico is alberca. But in the resorts that is from Spain, like a Rio resorts, they call piscina.
Piscina, that's what I learned was piscina. And then I got here and it was alberco and I was like, alberca, right?
Alberca.
Yeah, and I was like, what's that?
Yeah, so when you as American, you go to
Yeah.
a store and then you say, what is the piscina? The people will look at a white person asking me for what?
Yeah.
So they don't realize. Like
Okay.
to a friend happened, to Trisha happened that she asked in a store for a bolillo. And she said with a perfect, she told me, she said with a perfect Spanish, bolillo? And the people on the store were like, what? And then one guy behind her on the line, he was like, and she said again, bolillo? And the guy was like, and on the front, he was like, I don't understand. So the guy behind me, Trisha, she said like a bolillo, and the guy said like, yes, she's asking for a bolillo, and he used the specifically same word. So the guy on the front, he was like, oh, bolillo, like, that's what I said.
Isn't that what I said?
But sometimes it's not that
No,
they
I
were trying
know.
to make fun or be mean.
No.
It's just because they saw a white person
Right.
saying like a bolillo, what she wants. But then like
Yeah,
oh, bolillo for sure.
okay.
Yeah, so it's weird.
And there's specific slang too that
Mm-hmm.
comes from specifically Mexico and even different areas of Mexico,
Yes.
right? Like I mean, it's
Yes.
different in Mexico City than because
here.
I listened to a little bit of Mex Talkie, I think is a couple of young lads and they it's just a conversational thing and,
Yeah.
and they're from Mexico City and I just
Yeah.
some things are a little bit different than here.
Also the
right?
accent.
The accent, yeah.
They speak. I'm making. I will not do it because he's gonna look like I'm making fun of that accent. But he's like going up and down, but he's
Okay.
like I guess like in US or Canada. Or
Right.
the South
We
and the
we
North.
have the same. You
Yeah.
know, if you people from Newfoundland, we can hardly understand the rest of
Yes.
the rest of Canada,
Yes.
right?
And also
it's
the fast.
Yeah,
Some
yeah, and
people
very
talk
fast.
fast.
Yeah, and Mexican language is one of the fastest languages, second only to Japanese, is what I heard. So it's hard when you're a learner. And you just, if you just sort of ask people to slow down maybe, and like that's what
Habla más
we
despacio.
talked about that in my class
Yes.
the other day about
Yes.
how to ask that without seeming like saying it wrong.
Yes, yes.
Right? And that
Habla-
was really helpful to me because
Yes.
I was saying it the wrong way.
And how you say that?
Más despacio, por favor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Más
So-
despacio, por favor.
Yeah,
Slowly,
which
please.
is just slowly.
Slowly.
Where I was trying to say it was too fast for me, but the way I was saying it was wrong. So just those little things.
Yes.
You learn that, and then that way, and you remember them. Then once you've
That's the other thing on the WhatsApp or in the email you will have on your phone the whiteboard and you look
Yes.
at. I forget what Diego told me.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
that's
there.
perfect because we don't remember, and I'm a very visual learner. Like I like to see things written down, and so that makes it easier for me. So like having that to go back, refer back to, and then again, it's in context.
Yes.
And that's a big thing too, is to have things in context instead of studying lists and lists of vocabulary that don't mean anything to you unless you're in a situation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, well, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I just wanted
I can do
to
it all day
spend
long.
some time, spend some time and introduce Diego and his service that's available in Puerto Morelos as well as from anywhere in the world, really, because
Anywhere.
you can, as long as you've got Wi-Fi and a computer
Yes.
or a phone, you can do
Yes.
it right on your phone.
Yes.
So, anyways, thank you for
No,
coming
thank you,
and
thank you,
being
thank
my
you so
guest.
much.
And
Thank you so much.
Just another option for people to learn the language. Thanks very much.